Today, we're talking about a massive shift in how we actually make physical things. We're going to go way beyond the old-school supply chains and look at the future of manufacturing, a future that's being built on Web 3.
So let me just start by asking you a question. What if making a physical object was as easy as sending an email? Seriously, imagine you need a spare part, a custom-made toy, or a quick prototype, and you could just have it made by a printer a few miles away from you, ready in just a few hours. That's the wild promise we're digging into today.
And we're not talking about some small niche hobby here. The global manufacturing market is a mind-blowing $12 trillion industry. For centuries, this whole industry has been defined by massive factories, super complex logistics, and shipping things all over the planet. Well, a new technology is here, and it's poised to turn that entire model on its head.
You know, when most people hear Web3 or blockchain, they pretty much immediately think of crypto, right? Digital money. But the real revolution, the thing that's truly changing the game, is what's happening right now, as this tech moves beyond finance to reshape tangible, physical industries. We are literally watching a bridge being built between the digital and the physical worlds.
The engine driving all this change is a concept called DePIN. I know, it stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks, which sounds super complicated. But trust me, the idea behind it is actually really simple and incredibly powerful.
So what in the world is DePIN? Well, put simply, it's just a way to use blockchain to organize a whole network of real-world hardware. So instead of one company owning a giant server farm or a factory packed with machines, DePIN lets thousands of different people connect their own devices and work together like one big, coordinated system.
Let's just compare this to the world we all know. In a centralized system, right, you have one company, think Amazon, that owns and controls everything. But with DePIN, the network is owned and run by its actual users. It completely transforms a bunch of individual machines into one single global shared factory.
And this brings us to a perfect example of DePIN in action, a project called 3DOS. Their mission is to build a virtual factory, which is a fancy way of saying they're turning the entire internet into one massive, on-demand manufacturing network.
So, how does it all work? Well, it's been called the Uber for 3D printing, which is a pretty great description. The 3DOS platform is basically a marketplace that connects three groups of people. You've got the designers and inventors with the brilliant ideas. Then you've got the manufacturers, and that could be anyone with a 3D printer that isn't being used. And finally, you've got the customers who want to order these things and get them made locally. And the scale here is already amazing. This isn't just some theory on a whiteboard. The 3DOS network already connects almost 80,000 printers in over 120 countries. Every single one of those dots on the map represents a potential mini-factory, just ready and waiting to produce something on demand.
This model is just so much more efficient because products are made right there locally, and only when they're ordered, you get zero inventory and practically zero waste. It gets rid of all the cost and the carbon footprint of shipping stuff across oceans. It lets printer owners actually make money from their machines, and maybe most importantly, it democratizes manufacturing. It empowers anyone to be a creator.
Now, this all sounds fantastic, but it brings up a really important question. Why would thousands of people all around the world even bother to connect their printers and help build this network? What's in it for them? Well, the answer is the secret sauce of this whole thing, the network's own digital token.
The whole model is captured perfectly in this one phrase: earning before buying. See, instead of asking you to invest your own money up front, the network actually rewards you for your contributions. It's a brilliant way to build a community from the ground up because it gives everyone a real stake in the network's success.
This whole reward system often gets its start with something called an airdrop. You can think of it like a big launch promotion. It's a way to give out tokens to the very first people who show up and help build the network. You complete a few simple tasks, you earn points, and down the road, those points get converted into the real 3DOS token.
Okay, so you might be thinking, this sounds cool. How can I get involved? Let's walk through how you can safely jump into the 3DOS network right now, especially during this early phase where they're rewarding new users.
The process is really straightforward. First step, you just register on the 3DOS dashboard. Second, you install their AI Chrome extension and connect it with your API key. Easy. Step 3, you complete a few social tasks and make sure to claim your daily rewards. And finally, the fourth and easiest step, just keep the extension active in your browser to keep racking up those points.
And there are so many ways to contribute and earn. You can get points for completing actual print jobs on the network. If you're a designer, you can upload and share your own 3D models. If you've got tech skills, you can help build the platform.
even just being an active part of the community and referring your friends will get you bonus points. The goal is to reward any action that makes the network stronger.
All right, let's zoom back out and think about the bigger picture here. What does this all really mean for the future? Well, 3DOS is just one example of a much larger trend. The future of pretty much all of our infrastructure, both physical and digital, is becoming more and more decentralized.
And here's the most important point I want you to remember. You do not need to be a trader or a tech genius to be part of this new economy. By contributing your skills, your hardware, or even just your time, you can become an active participant and an owner in these new networks. It's really all about empowering everyone.
Ultimately, what we're witnessing here is the true democratization of making things. This isn't about one giant company building another factory. Nope. This is about a global community of people coming together to build a more efficient, a more sustainable, and a more accessible way to manufacture things for everyone.
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. We're seeing it happen in manufacturing, we're seeing it in data storage, in wireless networks. So as this technology keeps getting better and better, the real question is, what are we going to decentralize next?